In this video, I will teach you part 1 of my easy piano arrangement of Chopin's Nocturne in C# minor. Hi everyone, welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marina and I help people all over the world reach their piano goals without years of lessons. This is part 1 of the tutorial for my easy piano arrangement of Chopin's Nocturne in C# minor. If you'd like to see the full performance before you get started, you can follow it here at this link. I will also put the link in the description box below this video and in the comments. This is a note-by-note tutorial where I teach you the left-hand notes and the right-hand notes, and then we put the hands together and I give you pedaling suggestions. I also tell you what fingering I used, but you don't have to follow that fingering if it doesn't work for you. Remember, the only correct fingering is whatever works for you. So try what I've got. If you don't like it, try something else. It's fine. There is sheet music for this arrangement. I'm linking it below this video in the description box and in the comments. I'm also linking the full tutorial in the description box and in the comments. In this arrangement, I changed the key so that we have fewer black keys, and I simplified both the left hand and the right hand, and I took out the middle section, which, though it's gorgeous and of course it should be there because that's how Chopin wrote it, I made the choice, because I wanted to keep it on the easier side, to not include it in this arrangement. So if you are ready to start learning my easy piano arrangement of Chopin's Nocturne number 20, then keep watching. Okay, here we go. Left hand starts out second finger on D below middle C. Here's middle C. We're going down to the next D. So second finger, and then repeat that note. Next, first finger on G, pick up, and then back to your D. Fourth finger on B flat, and then fifth finger on A. And then you do that whole thing again. D, lift, D, G, lift, D, B flat, A. Okay, so the same exact thing 2 times in a row. Now, from there, take fifth finger to D, second on A, first on D, back to your A. So as I play this, I'm keeping my second finger kind of like not touching the A all the time, but definitely on top of it. I want to use that as my pivot point, like my home base. So I don't want to do this. You see what I'm doing now? I'm moving my hand around. I want to move it as little as possible because when we start, playing the P's, you're going to be, moving quite a lot. So you want to keep your hand position as steady as possible so that you don't have extra moves that you don't need to make that are going to take time and take your attention away from playing. Okay? So let's play that again. D, A, D, A. Now, fifth finger on D again, second on B flat, first finger reach out to E, and then back to B flat. Even though we're going to be using the pedal, you don't want to hop from one note to the next. You don't want to do that. Again, because it's going to take you more time and effort to do that than to connect, basically walking between the notes, but also because the sound is going to be different. Even with adding the pedal, a staccato gives a much different feel than a legato. You hear that? And in this kind of piece, this nocturne, we do not want a jumpy sound here at all. We want a nice, smooth sound. So going back to the beginning of this pattern, so we have the D, A, D, A. Let your wrist be flexible. D, B flat, E, B flat. Now we're moving on. So that we already did. Now we play the D, A, D, A 2 times in a row. D, A, D, A. Again. D, A, D, A. All right, so let's start back at measure 5. If you have the music, it's really going to help you to keep track of where we are and what we're doing. So back to measure 5, which is the beginning of this left hand pattern. Here we go. D, A, D, A. Then D, B flat, E, B flat, and then the D, A twice. D, A, D, A again. Okay, now before we move on, we've got a couple more measures in this section. Let's go back to the very beginning. So basically, this is how you should be practicing, learning little tiny bits. And you know, how much you learn is going to depend on the piece you're playing, how hard it is for you, that sort of thing. But you definitely don't want to like take a giant chunk and try to learn it. That's actually wasting your time. You'll get a lot further doing small sections and then putting them together, kind of like links in a chain, right? So taking it from the beginning, second finger on D, here we go. D, lift, D, G, lift, D, B flat, A. Now we're going to repeat that whole thing. Here we go. D, lift, D, G, lift, D, B flat, A. Now here's that walking pattern. D, A, D, A. D, B flat, E, B flat, relax your wrist. D, A, D, A, D, A, D, A. Now we're moving on. This is measure 7. Still D on the bottom, so fifth finger on D, third on F sharp, first finger on D, back to your F sharp, and then you do that again. Okay, so 2 times in a row. Let's move on. Fifth finger on E, second on B flat, first on D, back to your B flat, and then you do that again. So let's go back to measure 7, starting on the D, going to the F sharp. Here we go. D, F sharp, D, F sharp again. And then E, B flat, D, B flat. Play that again. Okay, so instead of going back to the very beginning, we're going to go back to measure 5, where this pattern starts, and put those 4 measures together. So here we go, starting on D with A, D, A. Okay, ready, go. Now, D, B flat, E. Back to D, A, D. Repeat that. Now D, F sharp, D. Repeat that. And then E, B flat, D. And repeat that. So you should be able to play these 4 measures pretty well, you know, with nice like planning ahead, not letting your fingers make mistakes and then fix them. Rather, you want to think ahead and tell your fingers where to go, because remember, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you practice making mistakes, even if your brain knows that they're mistakes, your hand is going to learn the mistakes, right? So why waste your time with that sort of thing? Just go ahead and take it nice and slow. If this is too fast for you, you know, slow it down. If you need to write out the note names for you, you can do that. Or if you have the sheet music, you can use the sheet music. And get it learned slowly, nice and steady beat, and then speed it up. And then when you're ready, we're going to do it now from the very beginning. Okay, so don't do this until you're ready. Starting on D, second finger. Here we go. D, lift, D, G, lift, D, B flat, A. Lift and repeat all that. now that walking pattern, here we go. D, A, D. D, B flat, E. D, A, D. D, F sharp, D. And then E, B flat, D. Okay? Right hand, first finger on F, fifth finger on D. Okay? You're going to play those together. Lift. Now, second on A, fourth on C. And then first on G, third on B flat. Okay? Let's do that much. Here we go. F and D, lift. And then lift, A and C, G and B flat. I'm lifting between all of them. From here, second finger on F, fourth on A. Then you're going to play almost the same thing, but third finger is going to play A flat instead of the A, so it's F and A flat. And then C sharp A, 1 and 4. If these fingerings don't feel good for you, do some experimentation, see what feels better for you. Sometimes fingering just doesn't feel comfortable because of whatever the particular circumstances are, and you just have to find the best one for you. And sometimes even the best one doesn't feel so good, but you know, that's just how it is. So let's take it from the F and A, 2 and 4. So this is going into measure 2. So F and A, then F and A flat, 2 and 3, and then pick up first finger on C sharp, fourth on A. Now let's take it from the very beginning, F and D, 1 and 5. Lift, A and C, lift, G and B flat, lift, F and A, lift, F and A flat, and then lift, C sharp and A. All right, then you do that whole thing again. Same notes, same fingering, everything. Here we go. F and A and C, G and B flat, F and A flat, and then C sharp A. As you can probably hear, sometimes my notes sound together and sometimes they don't. You know, like I'm exaggerating now. So we want to get to the point where they sound together. So that was pretty good. You don't want to do this, right? That sounds sloppy, and that's not what Chopin wrote. It's not even what I arranged. So the way to do that is to balance the weight of your arm between the two fingers that are playing. How you balance it is going to depend on which fingers are playing. So if you're playing a weak finger, like fourth finger, you'll want to give more weight to the fourth finger. So if I just play it like this, you see my second finger, it's just slightly longer, so it's going to come down first. Your hand might be shaped differently, but it's definitely much stronger than the fourth finger. So I want to give the fourth finger as much help as I can, so I lean more toward, you see that? I lean a little bit more toward that fourth finger. And then here, these are the kinds of things that I work on in my technique course, Become a Piano Superhero. I'll put a link to a free preview here so you can see if that's something you want to do. So we've done measures 1 through 4. Now it's time to move on. That was the introduction of the piece, and now the melody comes in. So fourth finger on A. And here we have, I've simplified the trill. And I've written it out so we know what to play. So third finger on G, fourth on A, and you're going to rock back and forth. Back to G. Now we're finishing up the trill. F, G, A. Okay, so let's play just that much. Here we go. A. Now rocking back and forth, G and A. 1, 2. The third time it changes. F, G, A. You might find it really hard to move these two fingers. So that's also related to technique. I know this is an easy piano version, but you still need to have some technique, right? Some way of moving your fingers on the piano. So if you find it hard and you find yourself curling up, then you know for a fact that you need to work on your technique, because curling up is what it's showing you is that you're tight and your muscles haven't quite learned how to work together properly to get what you want to get out of the piano. All right, so all things that I work on in my technique courses. So A, doing that trill, G, A, G, A, G, then F, G, A. Now, first finger on D. Okay, let's take it from the beginning until here. F and A, 1 and 5. Here we go. A and C, G and B flat, F and A, F and A flat, C sharp A, and then we do that whole thing again. Now here we go with that melody, fourth finger on A. G, A, G, A, G, F, G, A, D. We're almost done. Now from here, fourth finger goes up to D. And then we're going to rock back and forth again between the third and fourth finger, but not as many times. C, D, C. Now we've got a little quick note, B flat, and then a long B flat. So the first B flat is quick. It's a grace note. It doesn't really get any like attention. It's just a quick thing on the way to your main note. So you're going to do second finger, lift, and then land on that B flat third finger. So think this as going up and this one as coming down. Kind of like you're on a trampoline. So you're pushing off and then you're landing. Okay, so let's take it from the D. Here we go. C, D, C. Here's that grace note. Up, down. And the reason I'm changing fingers, because it's much easier to play a repeated note when you've got different fingers than, you know, to have the same finger. Because in piano, you can't replay a note unless you've let it go, right? And so if you would change fingers, then you know for sure you're letting it go because that finger's getting out of the way. If you play with the same finger, you may not lift enough. I'm lifting enough because I know how to do it. But the way to guarantee it is to change finger. It also helps you get a different feel for the grace note than from the main note, right? So let's take it from measure 5, starting on A. Ready? Lift. Here we go. A, G, A, G, A, F, G, A, and then D. Go up to the next D, fourth finger, C, D, C, B flat, B flat. All right. So I'm taking quite a long time with this first section because I want to set, a good basis for how we're going to practice and talk about technique and stuff like that. And this is the longest section we're going to do. So when you have that learned, come back for hands together. This first section is really easy because if you know the right hand and the left hand, all you're going to do is play them at the same time. So here we go. Together, they're all together. Lift. No pedal right now. We want to make it nice and clean first. Then you repeat that. So the only difference between the first time you play it and the second time is how loud you do it. So the first time is a little bit louder than the second time. It's almost like the second time is an echo of the first one. So give the first one a little more weight. And then the second one, less weight. Imagine that you weigh less. Okay, now from here it gets a little more complicated, so let's do it. Both hands start together, then left hand. Okay, that's pretty easy. Now together, right. Together, right. Together, together, right. Together. All right, just let's do that much. Starting at measure 5, here we go. Together, left, together, right, together, right, together, together, right, together. All right, then right hand holds, left hand keeps going, and then together. Right hand picks up and moves. Now together, left, and now all together. Right hand by itself first, and then together. So you see this grace note happens before the hands play together. And then right hand lifts. All right, let's take it back to measure 5. Here we go. Together. Okay, so let's take it from the beginning. When you're ready, you might need to pause and practice that. Here we go. A little bit lighter here if you can. Moving on. And here you want to make the left hand quieter than the right hand, because the right hand has the melody. Okay, once you have that, come back for pedal. So here the pedal is doing touches of pedal. If you're not sure what that means, go ahead and check out my pedaling tutorial. And then if you need more work, I have an entire course where we go through exercises with, the hands and the pedal. And I teach you the nuances. It's not just down and up. There's lots of stuff you can do with the pedal. And then we apply the knowledge to studying different pieces of music so that, when there are no pedaling marks, which is almost all the time, you'll know what to do and you don't have to ask people. All right, I'll put a link to that here. All right, so first you play and you put down the pedal and then you lift the pedal as you lift the hands. No pedal here. Down, lift the pedal with the hands. No pedal. Down, and here hold the pedal and then change. Okay, then you do the same thing again, a little quieter if you can. Lift, lift, oops, set down, lift your hands, pedal down, hold it and change, and then lift the pedal so we have a bit of space. Now, pedal goes down, hold it, up, down, up, down, up, down. Another way to say up, down is to say change, change. So you always change after you play the new note. Change, change, change. Okay, and there you go. So this is a very free piece. You don't want to play it like a metronome, but right now we're just learning it, right? So it's okay to play it, just kind of with a steady beat. When you actually play it, I mean, you can see on my performance video, I don't play it like a metronome. You want to give that melody room to breathe. Okay, there you go. So that was the first part of this nocturne. If you'd like to learn the whole thing, then follow the link below and you can purchase the full tutorial. Join my private Facebook group, Piano Practice Tips with the Piano Keys, where you can interact with me and lots of other really nice people who are also learning to play the piano. I also have a Facebook page, The Piano Keys. On Instagram, I'm at The Piano Keys TPK. And my website is thepianokeys.com. Got lots of tools for you to level up on your piano playing. Keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon.